All right, so one of the worst things could have happened to our 2006 F-250 truck Super Duty here. It's winter time. If you can't tell, I'm all bundled up and the heat went out. And normally if your heat goes out, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you're a little cold, but we live in the mountains, and in the mountains, when it gets really cold, you really need your defroster. You really need your blower motor, and that's the topic for today. I have reasons to believe that the blower motor went out, and so we're going to be replacing the blower motor. And while we're in there, might as well just replace the blower motor resistor, because I've seen that those are a pain and they get corroded. So it's like, might as well just do it now. If they're one and the same, might as well. So I just want to show you what is happening right now. So if I put the key in, we're on ACC now. Right now it's off, and it's on 4. I'll move it to 1. If I put it on, so you can kind of hear a little squealing, a little something happen. Nothing is coming out. If I move it to 2, nothing. 3, nothing. 4, absolutely nothing. So that leads me to believe that it's the blower motor. I've seen online that if it's the resistor, then it would probably only work for the 1 or the 4 setting, or just one setting. But since nothing is coming out, then it's most likely the motor. So we're just gonna replace them both. Okay, so like I said, 2006 F-250 Super Duty. So here is the blower motor. This is the motor. It's attached with this connector. You can, to troubleshoot, you can take this connector off and then get a voltmeter. And if this is reading some sort of voltage when you turn on the heat or the AC, that means that it's most likely the blower motor. There's also some other beforehand troubleshooting steps you can take, but this was the ultimate test that let us know that we needed to change the motor. And here, right next to it, is the resistor. It's pretty jammed in there. There's a bolt here and a bolt down there, 8mm if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna change the resistor first, because it's pretty cold out, and I think the resistor will take a little longer, and then we'll move on to the blower motor. Alright, so using an 8mm wrench, get this resistor off, and here it is. Okay, so this is the new part. It's the Duralast brand, and this is the old part. Sometimes it's nice to kind of look at the parts and see how it's assembled, so you can figure out how to disassemble it. I've seen multiple ways, looking on other YouTube videos, how to take this off. First, I'm just going to try with flatheads to kind of get this little clip. Push it in on one side, push it in on the other side here. And if that doesn't work, I've also seen people literally breaking the plastic off of the old resistor, but not the clip on the connector. So we'll see how nice this wants to be to me. It's 1 o'clock. Hands are a little chilly, but we're going to keep pushing on. So ideally, if you had another person, this would probably be a lot easier, because it's these little, these little clips that need to be pushed out and then down on both sides at the same time. So that's kind of hard to do single-handedly. So I've kind of fabricated a little wedge I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I think even just a little bit of centimeters and millimeters off of the resistor might be enough for me to pry it out. So we'll see. That took about an hour and 20 minutes. You would think you can just pull it off, but probably because, yep, I'm looking in here, it's definitely got some rust. And you also want to be diligent with the connector because you don't want these to snap. So to kind of show what I did, yeah, using that paper, which I don't know where that went, using paper to wedge, like this isn't gonna move, this triangle, so using some paper or anything you can to kind of wedge something to get these little clips to bulge out just a little bit. And then what I ultimately ended up doing was taking some needle nose and just sticking it on there, something to grip. And then I used a flathead screwdriver to kind of, well, initially I had used it to pry, I pried in there on the side, so kind of like on this side, like jammed it in there and like hammered it down as much as I could and tried to like wiggle, because the connector here has little little grippers you can grip, so I would try to jam the flathead screwdriver in as much as I could and then clip it without, you know, and then try to like wiggle it. And then I noticed that it was starting to move a little bit, so then I gripped that clip again, and then the next time I used the flathead screwdriver, if it was like this or whatever, I used the flathead screwdriver and I just started banging on this because I'm not reusing this. And remember, those clips need to have some sort of like pressure to pull apart, and with the banging up on this, it kind of just came off. Yeah, I kind of broke it a little bit. That's totally fine. One of the videos I saw, that person was breaking it left and right. I tried to break it, it wouldn't break. It was unintentional breaking, but that is another way to get this off. So just changed the resistor, and like I mentioned earlier, I don't think it was the resistor, but you never really know. So, moment of truth, I'm gonna try the heat. I'm gonna try the heat before I change the blower motor, just to kind of see what's really going on. So here we go. Okay, yeah, and still not getting anything. So, all right, to the blower motor. Okay, so for the blower motor, first thing you're gonna do is remove this connector. Pretty straightforward. Then there's this, it's really dusty, so I'm gonna clean all this off briefly, like not like a lot, but if you have one of those duster things, that spray, get like that air can. If you have that air can that sprays air, that would probably be smart. But yeah, so the next is there's this little rubber thing. And it's attached to this hose. So this is 8mm. This one here. This one's also 8. And this one down low is actually 7. Don't know if that was Ford or the person who owned it before. But yeah, so 8, and 7 down here. Alright, so it should just pop right out. Cool. If you wanted to save some money, you could just get the motor, which is the black part here, and then just take the fan off. But I'm just gonna do the whole thing, so that's that off. Big gaping hole right here. And yeah, I'm gonna install the new one in reverse order and see if that's the problem. So here we go. So what I'm doing is really making sure that this tube is flush on the motor. Hindsight, I would have probably put this on first before installing the motor, but that's okay. So now I'm just kind of feeling around, making sure it's flush. There was one area that was a little raised that could affect performance with the blow. It's looking good. Put the band over and plug it in. Alright, turn that ACC on, and I can hear it already. Put it on the first one, hear stuff, and that there is blowing. 3 and 4. So it's blowing there. Turn it off. Let's try the, oh yeah, it's really blowing. Defrost, still good. Okay, so pretty satisfying to hear that heat. Like I was saying, it could be really sketchy to drive without heat or a blower at all. Because you really need that defrost to defog the window. And so we changed the resistor, and that wasn't the problem. Like I've done in my research, normally the resistor shows signs of either 1 or 2 settings blowing, but not none of them. So when none of them were blowing, I kind of figured it was the blower motor. But since we were already in there, I thought it would be good to change the resistor as well. And I'm glad I did, because that thing was really rusty and really old. So yeah, if you've got blower issues, give that a shot. It's a pretty simple repair. The resistor kind of took time, but it wasn't complicated. It just kind of took a lot of patience. Thank goodness this works. And I'll see y'all for some next random repair that needs replacing. Take care.